discussion for today.
Yes.
Let us go into the FIFA Club World Cup. This is the first time that we're going to be seeing a very big FIFA Club World Cup where teams from Africa is not just one. In the previous years, we've seen Al Ahly compete, we've seen Sundowns, we've seen Esperance of Tunis, and with that of Casablanca also, they have competed. But now we are seeing more than 4 teams from Africa. We are seeing teams from South America, we're seeing teams from Europe, teams from Oceania, teams from Asia, more like a World Cup. And this time around, it is groundbreaking. Even Lionel Messi will be making his debut for Inter Miami, and this time around, he is not aiming to win it because I think it's not delusional enough to say he wants to win it. So basically, the first game of tonight is Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. The host, of course, in America. So what do you see to Lionel Messi's Inter Miami? Where do you think they are going to reach? They are in the same group with FC Porto and Fluminense. Palmeiras, yeah.
Yes. This is going to be a very good tournament. The buzz around it has not been as high as everyone would have thought, but then because it's the end of the season and some notable European names will not be there, even though they are the Barcelonas, the Liverpools. No, not Arsenal. I'm talking about the European names. The European heavyweights.
Arsenal,
I'm not saying England heavyweights. I'm saying European heavyweights.
Wow, that was a good ban.
But you do know that. Right? So the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Barcelona are not going to be competing, which we understand based on their recent performance. We know how for many people who probably don't get it, there are 12 teams coming from Europe.
Yeah.
And the ranking of how they got to be there, aside those who have won the Champions League within the last 4 years, then they rate the ranking of the best 8 teams within the last 4 years, 2021 to 24, based on the UEFA coefficient. And that's where a team like Salzburg, a team like FC Porto is getting in there based on their performance within that past 4 years. It's going to be a very, very nice tournament. Maybe this opening game is not the one anybody would have watched out for, but Al Ahly against Inter Miami. Save for Inter Miami shouldn't even be in this conversation.
Yes, they shouldn't
because they are the youngest team. It was founded just 2020. They're just 5 years old, and now they are playing the Club World Cup. They are playing against Al Ahly, a team of over 120 years.
I think they're the most decorated team in the world.
Yes, they've been in this competition, the Club World Cup, since it started in 2000.
They've been to the semi-final.
Yeah, since it started in 2000, they've been there 10 times. And we know their record in the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the club of the century. So I think it's not an even matchup, but they've lost so many of the players. You can talk about Trezeguet right now, who is there, Zizou, but
Pesitao.
Pesitao is still, but it's not really the Al Ahly of the one that we used to know with
and the
South African side and all of those things.
Yes.
But it's going to still be, it's Lionel Messi. So whatever, if Lionel Messi is playing for Eyimba, you will expect that teams will turn up. But I don't think Inter Miami has any chance in this tournament. The best they could hope for, and according to their one of the partner, Jorge Mas, they're also just looking at qualifying for the knockout stage. And that's
more like
the best they could
exposure for their players.
That's the best they can hope for.
Would you say that Al Ahly, they are going to watch Inter Miami tonight? Because we've seen what happened to Inter Miami in the first 5 games of the season under Javier Mascherano. They were not themselves. They are out of the CONCACAF, I think the Champions League. So what would you say? Was it a bad decision bringing Javier Mascherano in and letting Tata Martino leave?
On that question for me, I think letting Tata Martino go was not the best choice, to be honest, because I feel like they didn't start well also under him, but they found their feet. So it's like they are going back to the same way they were under Martino, but it was not this bad. I mean, Martino actually brought some players, developed some players, the likes of Benjamin Krimaski, likes of Diego Gomez, who is now at Brighton. He brought some players out, even mixed them with
some young stars.
Facundo Farias, a lot.
They were winning under Martino.
They were. So I was also just like I was surprised that they had to let him go for a Mascherano. Fine, we know that Mascherano, but the influence is actually letting the club go down. And just like Sam said, I don't think they should even be near this competition at all, because fine, they are like the least credible team out of all the teams in this competition.
But of course, you need a face for the league.
Which is it, and then
Suarez, Messi are the ones.
Fortunately for them was the fact that they won the Supporters' Shield, which people still criticize FIFA for handling that host. The host team,
when there's an actual team that
actually
won the league
later, so
and they had to come.
What do they call? Those ones won the playoff. What do they call that tournament?
The MLS Cup. Yes. They won the MLS Cup at the playoff at the end of the season. I think that was when Gareth Bale was there at LAFC. The face of the league, in my own terms, they are even bigger than Inter Miami. Of course, they are. And they had to come in
because...
But
the LAFC are in the tournament, right?
They had to come in because a club had to be banned. I think that was Club Lyon, the club of James Rodriguez. They had to be... Mexican club. I think it was due to multi-club ownership. So they had to let them go for a bigger team than Inter Miami to be there. I think this one is so obvious that it is the Messi influence.
If you were FIFA also, you would also want to make money. See the way Design have been promoting the Club World Cup, but they are not promoting it with just European players. They are promoting with Messi and of course Luis Suarez. On his Twitter page, every time you see what happens, trying to promote the FIFA Club World Cup. Imagine Messi wasn't there, the tickets might have actually not been sold.
Just to be fair with FIFA, it's not like it was an handover or they actually did well in the season and they won the Supporters' Shield. So what was remaining was then to win the playoff and become the
overall champions.
Before that tournament even was held, that's when FIFA already announced Inter Miami as the host.
I think they thought Miami could have won the major title.
It really doesn't matter. Their performance, like you said, they need that buzz. United States is not the biggest fan of football, soccer as they call it. So they need a face with it. And who better? Lionel Messi is the... I feel even if they hadn't gone, maybe they would have done it as an invitational for them.
Just and they're also pushing for a certain Cristiano Ronaldo as well. It was obvious. They wanted him to also be there.
Beckham even wanted like a Messi-Ronaldo partnership. But it would
have been great for football.
Let's round this up now. For you, what's your score prediction for tonight?
For tonight, and I think there are going to be goals.
Goals?
Of course.
You can always
have you seen Inter Miami's defense?
Oh, no, of course
they defense. They always concede. Always
to concede goals.
And in this group also, give us your,
the group is not that an outright. I think
FC Porto and
depends
Palmeiras.
on the performance of Al Ahly tonight. If Al Ahly wins this first game, then they will top that group because FC Porto had a bad season. I'm not saying for the second time running, they came third in the league. With Palmeiras, when you take out Estevao, Victor Roque,
I'm actually going there. I'm going there. They have players. They do. I mean,
Palmeiras is
their striker.
How do we talk about Palmeiras? The banter with Palmeiras in Brazil.
Yeah,
they are that team that never gets there.
They never get. But they are more like building players for Europe.
People come and pick up.
The likes of Hendrick, right? I understand, but one thing I want to say about this tournament is this, right? It has created like an opportunity. Most of these clubs will be meeting each other for the first time, so it's a level playing field. You are not at home. You are away, but you are not at home. This is a neutral ground for everybody. So they will be playing. It's what you can offer.
Fair
for me, I think Palmeiras, don't be surprised when they top the group as well. It is what your football can do.
So basically, don't be surprised when Inter Miami also top.
They are not top.
But
they have the worst defense in this tournament.
We want to look at the Group B now. Let's take a look at Group B. Can we have the Group B table? Who are those teams in Group B? And of course, apart from the likes of Chelsea that are in this tournament. Okay, let's take a Group B. We have PSG versus Atletico de Madrid. This is a Champions League fixture.
Yes.
And we're going to see that most times in the midnight, sometimes late in the evening, PSG versus Atletico de Madrid.
The timing is not so good.
Who are you tipping for this? PSG, the incumbent champions of Europe. Atletico de Madrid, the near men, always getting to the final or getting to semi-finals and not making it. They've had a wonderful season, like competing with likes of Barcelona in the league and Real Madrid in the league. But in the Champions League, one way or the other, we'll say they were robbed if we're going to say from that angle. So who would you pitch your tent with? Sam, you go first.
I really think what we've seen of PSG in the last 2 months, they look like the favourites. But it's Diego Simeone you are playing against. Yeah. No matter the team, it's Simeone that can always, he finds a way to adapt. And so that's why I'm not going to outrightly say it's a PSG one. I think it's going to be a tough one. And these are the kind of matches we want to see in this game when we have the big boys playing against each other. Simeone has been with Atletico since 2011. 14 years. Yes. Yeah. He has revived, re-energized, he has turned,
he has scattered, he has brought him back. Yeah.
And then he's with Alexander Solot having the good form in the last 5 or 6 games. Yes. And Alvarez and Griezmann pulling the strings also. It's going to be a tough one. I think Atletico can win this match because I don't trust that the defense of PSG is strong enough to withstand them.
Well, since it's not final, so the game might be open. At FIS, we also have Botafogo of I think Brazil, and Seattle Sounders of the MLS. We used to have a Nigerian player in Seattle Sounders, Obafemi Martins. Yeah. That was then when the MLS was still, bringing likes of MLS. Was still MLS, but now, back then we used to have
the MLS now is marginally scale.
No, really. We used to have Fernando Adi also at Seattle Sounders too. Yes. But let's talk about them against Botafogo. Who would you say? I think Botafogo has this reputation of producing players also for the Premier League.
They are the current Copa
champions. And you could see Nottingham Forest also trying to poach 3 players with the influence of Edu Gaspar from that club. How would you think they would fare, both of them? I mean, Seattle Sounders and Botafogo. How would they fare in this tournament? They are in the same Group B with PSG.
For me, I think I want to put an exclusive. It's going to be a straight win for Botafogo because these guys actually play fantastic football. I mean, maybe they were not the favorites to win that Copa Libertadores. It was supposed to be Atletico Mineiro, that the team of Orc. Remember Orc? And so for me, they played well. They still have the core of their players, though they've been losing some players. In the Brazil transfer market, anybody can move to anywhere. So for me, they still have the likes of Junior. I think they have the likes of Junior Santos. They also got Arthur. They have good players, likes of Igor Jesus that nothing Forest wants to sign. I think he had the Brazil cap. There's Quaibano. They have good players everywhere, young players, and they play solid football. And I think it's actually going to be too much for Seattle. Seattle used to have, I think they used to have Clint Dempsey.
Seattle have actually reduced in terms of
they've lost a lot.
For
me, the reason why they are here is because of their performance
over the last 4 years.
I think they were 2021 CONCACAF champions, 2022. I can't remember.
When they used to have the likes of Raul Diaz. So right now, they are not even doing well.
They are not doing the MLS.
So if you want to make a prediction now, I think they are going to finish bottom of this group.
So Botafogo has third.
There might be surprises.
Yeah.
PSG.
So you think upset might come in?
They will be upset.
Definitely.
They will be upset. Your faves might not actually top groups. I'm telling you.
To be honest, it's just a glorified friendly one way or the other. But a lot of people,
World Cup.
Man, it's a
glorified friendly.
Compared to the Nations League.
In there, right? A lot of money.
Compared to the Nations League.
So is it a major trophy? Is it a major trophy?
Of course it is a major trophy. And it's going to be happening every 4 years. This is the club version of what's going to happen next year.
Fair enough.
So let's take our next out. It might not have the greatest of starts.
Yeah.
It might not have that buzz yet. But trust me, just like every FIFA World Cup for the national team, we always have this controversy at the beginning, but football takes the day. Yeah. So football is also going to take the day, starting with Al-Ahly whitewashing Miami.
No.
Then the rest.
Really? Don't worry. I think fans out there watching will come and meet. I mean, they'll come at you saying, okay, is it Lionel Messi you're going against or not? Whichever. But of course, let's go to Group C. Let's go to Group C. Who are those in Group C for you, basically? And Chelsea, we've not heard about what group they are in. But of course, Bayern Munich against Auckland City. Auckland, they're New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So this should be a straight whitewashing.
It should be. I don't think anyone will. Look at that. Auckland City are the only qualifier from the Oceania.
Yeah.
And that's how they get this. They get this option. I mean, this to play with the big boys. These are stuff of what you see in pre-season games when the big European team decides to go and play in Asia and then maybe they play this. So it's a big one for Auckland City. For being here alone. For qualifying, they have $3.5 million. That's the least any team. That's the least any team is qualifying. Yeah. for the qualifying teams, that's the list they are collecting, and it's Auckland City. I think other teams for South America, Africa, they're getting 9.5. I mean, North America and Africa, they're getting 9.5. Yes. For South America, they're getting 15 million, and then for European teams, they're getting between 12.8 and 13 million. Based on the for qualifying alone. So 3.5 million is indicative, whether they win or not.
So just take it.
Imagine an
football, take it and go back to the ocean.
Imagine an Imba getting 9.4. So yeah, that would have been a lot.
It's a long way to go.
It is a straight wrong game. I don't think there should be an analysis with this.
Do you think they stand a chance in maybe?
But then it will be good. At least if they get a draw, they get $1 million. Also for getting a draw. So that's something that should be.
But maybe not this game. Yeah? Maybe not this game. Maybe their upcoming games. Maybe not this game. But
they might actually stand a chance because if you take a look at the group, there are still Boca Juniors and Benfica.
You know what? Just tell Auckland City if they can listen to me now. Take the 3.5 million. Try to get a draw, which is not sure. Just go back to the ocean. Yeah, from Ocean.
I say go back to the ocean. So okay, how would you rank these teams? Boca Juniors from Argentina and Benfica, Bayern Munich. At least, if we're going to be writing off Auckland City, the top three, arrange them for me.
So it's Benfica, Boca Juniors. As with Boca Juniors, you can trust that they have the support. I think they will have more fans in the stadium than in Benfica. And then the fact that there are some old heads that are probably coming in. It will be nice to see that. Marcos Ferreira used to be with Benfica.
Yes.
And now he plays for Boca Juniors. So, I'm sure a lot of people don't know that he's still playing. Yes, the man himself.
The man with the arrows.
Edison Cavani is also going to be leading the line. So it's going to be a straight one for me that Benfica will take the day. But Boca Juniors is never a pushover. We know they were never a pushover.
Of course they are not. So let's go to the next group. We have Chelsea, Esperance, LAFC, and how would you rate these teams for you basically? And LAFC, Chelsea first match, LAFC against Chelssie. You're suddenly quiet. Is it you don't trust Chelsea to fly the flag high?
They won the Conference League. Says enough that they were supposed to win. Not a level of competition for them really. The biggest thing they faced was the team they faced in the final.
Compared to the likes of LAFC, Flamingos.
Fine. This is.
Esperance is also in their group.
It's Africa, a bigger platform. It's a bigger platform. I think if we look at LAFC, their players going against Chelsea's players, I think for me it's level. Yeah. They still have a certain Hugo Lloris, fine. Yeah. Goalkeepers age like fine wine, right? Because Lloris is still there.
Then Olivier Giroud.
Yeah, former striker Olivier Giroud. I was speaking about Dennis Bouanga before I came into the show. Yeah. An exciting player. I think it's normally Chelsea should take the day. They should beat LAFC. But like I said, it is a level playing field.
It's Chelsea that dropped some certain players back home.
Awesome. Players that are supposed to be dropped. What do you want to do?
I'm talking about the quality in their squad for them to even be dropping.
Chelsea players is about 60, I think. They're over 50.
They have a lot of players.
It's no surprise that they keep adding and subtracting. Yeah. And that's where this... it would be nice to see some of these guys that they decided to bring in Esogo, Malangsa. No, not Malangsa.
No, Mamadou Sarr, the young boy
from Strasbourg.
I think the Malangsa left last season. Yes. And then Liam Delap. But with Chelsea, with Botafogo, LAFC, it should be a straight one. But then...
Let's take a look at Flamingo and Esperance of Tunis.
Flamingo, yeah, the Brazilian team, and then Esperance de Tunis. This is the match for me. Esperance de Tunis.
The match. Yes. Big team in South America, big team in Africa.
Yes. Esperance has been one of those sides. They might now have won Champions League many times, but then you can always try them with the Confederations Cup. The Confederations Cup is usually where they shine the most. Yeah. And then now representing us alongside Mamelodi Sundowns, Alali, and then
Wydad
Casablanca.
So it's only Moroccan teams and Egyptian teams. Then Sundowns, South Africa.
What were you expecting? The other team that probably would have gotten a chance would be TP Mazembe.
Simba
TP Mazembe, based on their performance, but then they've not been doing well in recent years. So, it's going to be a tough game, and I cannot pinpoint that this is going to be, because Esperance like every of the northern African teams, they always come to to play and they show their.
But I think Flamengo,
rank for me. I mean, we'll have limited time now. Rank for me in your group: Chelsea, LAFC, Flamingos, and Esperance of Tunis.
For me, I think it's going to be Chelsea, Flamengo, Esperance de Tunis, and LAFC. Because
so no African team is going to make the next round?
No, I'm not saying we still have more African teams. Trust me, we still have more African teams that will do it. But for me, I think I was going to speak on Flamengo. They have experienced players, coupled with their young players. I mean, they just signed Jorginho, they have Danilo, they have Alexandro. They have good players, coupled with the experience. And I think it's going to be too much for experience. So I think they will take this game, and I think they will also kick on to qualify with Chelsea.
Okay, so Group E basically has Inter versus Montero for their first game. Montero from Australia.
Inter from Canada.
The whitewashed
Monterrey from Mexico.
Monterrey from Mexico, yes.
Yeah, but with Sergio
Montreal,
Ramos.
yeah.
With Sergio Ramos.
So Montreal from
Canada.
It's
Montreal from okay, Montreal from Canada. I think they play in the
MLS also.
The MLS as well. Inter should take it now. Forget the 5-0 washing. Whitewashing against Paris Saint-Germain. I think the quality is just good. They still have the quality. It's going to be too much for Montreal.
And they've added the two players, Peter Susic and
Luis Enrique.
So
I think going forward, it's just what is Christian Kivu going to do? Because he's a new manager now. He's plays almost the same style as the last manager, Simone Inzaghi. But now, what can you add that Inzaghi didn't remember to do to suffer that 5-0 defeat? That was too much. I mean, so you want to quickly take this off your face. Sam, I'm sorry, I know I'm taking shots, but you need to take this off your face. Let people quickly forget that by winning this your first game, so that people will forget. Of
course, they should win,
and then you can kick on. I think they prove too much for Montreal. Yeah, we mixed it up there. They're going to prove too much for CF Montreal. I think Inter will win this game.
They said the second game in this group, River Plate versus Urawa Reds. Urawa Reds. I know everybody will be asking, what team is that? They are from South Korea, or something.
From Japan, yes.
Yep. So basically, River Plate from Argentina, and that River Plate has produced a lot of stars. They've produced Julian Alvarez. They've produced.
The game you don't want
Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, so it's
they're from Japan actually. I mean,
Urawa Red Diamonds. Urawa Red Diamonds have been a constant fixture in AFC. In fact, they've always been there. So that's how they get this up to be here. And so many of their players have also gone, at least from youth players. I'm trying to remember a particular name now that moved to Europe from
Japan.
There. So I know a particular player that moved from Urawa Red Diamonds straight to Europe. Shinji Kagawa, yes. I moved to Dortmund, I think, at the time. So they are a good side. River Plate, same with them, they've got a few experience. I think Lazzini plays there now. Manuel Lazzini.
Real Madrid's a new signing who will be allowed to play for them.
Masatuano will also be. I'm sorry, that guy. There's a particular clip that keeps playing on my head. How he was on the floor and I was fighting. That's a real. So many of the youngsters that we're going to see, like we mentioned about Estevao as well, with Palmeiras. These are guys that is going to be very, very. But until the game starts and the tournament, we will not be able to judge. Maybe after the first round of games, we have more info about how these guys are playing. Toyosi already mentioned it. Most of them are playing against each other for the first time ever. So it's not going to just be because they've never seen each other. No matter how many clips you've watched a particular side,
you cannot. So let's go to the next group. We saw Hyundai
from Korea.
Mamelodi Sundowns.
Exactly.
For me, Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa. We have to back our own, but at least let's say plainly as it is.
Yeah.
Would you say that they should be overcoming this, the Asian side?
I want a lot of people to actually watch out for Hyundai because they are Korean. And when you mention Korea, especially the Nigerians, we know that you mention Korea for the movies. But this time around, these guys actually play good football too. And they also have a pedigree. I mean, they're one of the best teams. In fact, if not the best team in South Korea, actually. Yeah. And but for Mamelodi Sundowns, I mean, we know that, in this part of Africa, in South Africa, let's leave out the North Africans now. We know they dominate African football. But Mamelodi Sundowns, they give them that push.
They had a bad ending to the season.
Yeah, but
They lost their Champions League title.
But we know it's a team that has been playing together for long. Core of their team, even made the South African national team. So they know themselves.
And they've also produced good players. And their striker, Lucas Ribeiro, who is a Brazilian, I think he has double figures of goals. That's a player that should actually be watched out for. Very, very sleek player. He can operate also from the wings. So I think this is going to be a tight old game. But I feel Sundown should take the day and do it for us.
So we still have Dortmund and Fluminense. Dortmund are a household name, but you know, they are going to be playing against household names of each continent also, and Fluminense from Brazil. So I don't want to say because Dortmund are giants in Europe also, regardless. Who would you be pitching to, come out top in this group?
Anybody that wins between Sergio Guirassy and Thiago Silva. Because Thiago Silva is still there.
Yeah, he's still the captain. And, it would have been nice if Marcelo had not done what he did to also be part of this.
Absolutely.
But then Thiago Silva, even at his age, is still one of the best defenders. Until the last time he left Chelsea. So, but I still think it's a Dortmund one. It's going to be a straight one.
Yeah, and let's see if Joe Bellingham can give us goals and assists.
Yeah, the younger Bellingham.
The younger Bellingham.
Just doing Dortmund.
But I feel like Fluminense as well, they were also recently Copa Libertadores champions. They also have that pedigree. They also have good players. Yeah. But Dortmund is going to prove too much. And Dortmund should top. But football is not played on paper.
So we're done with that aspect of the group. Another group has champions. Manchester City, Juventus. In Group G, Al Ain are also part of that group.
Al Ain also
played by the of Casablanca.
Yeah,
I think everybody has won their continental championships.
United Arab Emirates, Wydad Casablanca of Morocco, Juventus
of Italy,
and then Manchester City. That's it. But then I think it's obvious, and we can always hope for upset. But then this is a group that you think the two European side will qualify.
If there were third place, best third place teams, I would have probably picked Wydad to make the top three.
The thing here is that the two guys are playing each other as their third game. So it means like if they are able to quickly get the wins in the first two games, they've already qualified. Al Ain, it would be nice to see them. I think they were the one that made Al Nassr not to be able to be
and they have an African player who is actually Moroccan, who is one of their best players, Sofiane Rahimi. He plays fantastic football at the Olympics. So
that young guy.
He's also going to feature against a team from his country. I think this one is actually going to be open. We are saying the two European teams, but don't forget that Juve don't play the best football.
And they have a new manager too.
No, he got to finish the season.
He finished the season, but it still doesn't mean.
No, let me say, yes, he qualified for the Champions League
because
he was
well
almost not qualified.
Yes.
And then they've rewarded him with a once they were unable to get Conte, they give him a 2-year contract.
Yes.
And even an extension. He needs to now solidify the fact that, okay, they've made a good decision there. One of the best things that could happen to him is the fact that he's playing these two sides before he plays Man City.
Of course. Yes.
So
if we cannot get the wins, Man City will be very tough. And we've seen what Man City have done in the market. I mean, look at and they've taken all their signings. I think they're actually favourites to win.
But of course, let's go to the next group, Salzburg and Real Madrid. Then they are in the group H, Pachuca, Al Hilal. And the Al Hilal, you know how good they can be on their own day.
But they're also playing Real Madrid in their first game.
In their group.
It's also an open group.
Salzburg, Real Madrid, Pachuca. I think they're from Mexico.
Yes.
Then Al Hilal.
I think so far from Group A to H, I think it's just going to be wonderful football all around because Pachuca as well also play good football.
Yeah.
Though they might not even be the best. I think the best team in Mexico right now should be Club America, and they're not even there.
They're not there.
So
maybe it's based on reputation.
So Pachuca, they'll play what they can play, but this is Real Madrid. But at the same time, this is the very first FIFA Club World Cup. This is not the Champions League where you have 15 titles.
No,
so this time
I will not say no. This is not the first FIFA Club World Cup, basically.
I mean,
in a tournament format.
In this format. Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have put that.
Madrid still has the most trophy even in the Club World Cup. Yes. I think they have 5.
Because they've won the Champions League as many times.
But you remember when the Champions League went to a new format? We saw that Real Madrid almost got knocked out. So this is a new format also for the FIFA Club World Cup.
I don't think
they might struggle.
And also the fact that they have a new manager. We want to see what Alonso. Yes, what he did with Leverkusen is different, but he's playing now with big boys. Can he manage that?
Lots of news.
Yeah.
We also have a new right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold as well.
I think that might not be new. That might not be news. I wanted to say it might not be new news. Might not be news. Yeah, why? Because it's been in the news for a very long time.
And for certain gamers, this is reality. Because it always happens. It always happens. It always happens. Real Madrid always gets to sign Arnold, and they've signed him in real life as well. I think Real Madrid will take this group.
So who comes in second?
It's between the rest of the other three, but Real Madrid will take this one.
Sam,
I really don't think it's going to be a tough one. So let's just stick with the fact that Madrid will qualify. And they're going to top the table. I cannot say. They have the reputation, they have the players to do it, but then let's see. They're going to qualify. That we can be sure of.
Well, fantastic. You know, it's been a jolly ride talking about the FIFA Club World Cup, but we will be going to be in a very, very short break, and when we're going to be back, it's going to be talking about transfers and, of course, who we're talking about? Victor Osimhen, Florian Wirtz, and the like. Stay tuned.